busting. Many brothers I be sparking and rusting, man, like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just a brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifested. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred life.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is a time of month where a lot of the content that you guys are going to see on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming that you guys are all caught up with the Boruto manga and you guys do not care about me talking about spoilers. So today I want to have a conversation that I think is pretty much long overdue, and it's one that we really need to have in regards to the character of Sarada Uchiha. And I want to propose something that I think a lot of people aren't quite ready to swallow, but I think it's something that's very likely to actually happen, which is Sarada Uchiha joins that very small list of shinobi who can actually use all 5 changes in chakra nature. Now, before anybody just jumps the gun and gets super upset and saying, oh my god, good sir, why would you make her so powerful? I'll tell you to pump the brakes for a second. So we're gonna kind of go back and look at a couple things, and hopefully this will actually get you guys to seeing things from my perspective on why this is the best route for the character Sarada Uchiha to take. So currently, when you look at the new generation of Team 7, currently, if we're being completely honest here, you can make a very good argument that while Sarada was the one who took the charge and was the one leading against the battle against Boro and was the most technically sound when it came to coming up with strategies, you can argue that Sarada might be the physically weakest member of all of the new Team 7. So before anybody gets upset and says, yo, you're being sexist, you're putting a woman at the bottom, that's not where I'm going with on this. However, you have Boruto, who has that Boruto Shiki transformation, clearly the strongest member of Team 7. You also have Kawaki, who has the Karma Seal, clearly the second strongest. Then you have Mitsuki. Mitsuki doesn't use Sage Mode, but he has Sage Mode in his back pocket. So that right there, that's a pretty huge wall for Sarada to actually climb. However, where I do think that Sarada has room to actually grow here is, while these other characters do have this monster power, Sarada, she's no scrub in her own right, but Sarada has a path because of that sharingan to actually be somebody who becomes the most skilled member of her generation. And I think the way that you do this is by having Sarada master all 5 changes in chakra nature. When we look at all the information that we have from all the continuities, we know that Sarada has a strong affinity for fire release. She's an Uchiha. That just comes with the whole genetic makeup. The other thing is that we know that she copied lightning release in the Hidden Miss Field Trip arc, and Sarada's pretty proficient in lightning release. She's a chip off the old block in that respect right there. Now, the other thing is in the Sasuke Shinden light novel, there's a scene that takes place where it's very strongly implied that Sarada is beginning to actually master wind release at this point. And so that actually makes a lot of sense when you consider the fact that in the Otsutsuki Castle arc of the actual Boruto series that was the prelude to the Mujina Bandits arc, Sarada had her Sharingan active and was looking at Mitsuki when Mitsuki was using that Gale Palm Jutsu to assist Boruto in that time. You can probably argue that Sarada actually copied Mitsuki's wind release during that time right there, because she performed the jutsu alongside of him as well. That's 3 changes in chakra nature right there. So she would have to pick up 2 more. And I think the way that you do this in a way that doesn't actually feel like a complete plot convenient moment is you actually have Sarada, he trains to actually master that affinity, and you just put in the sense that, well, just like Sakura said in the anime, stamina is going to be an issue for Sarada using her Sharingan. I say that to say this right here. When you look at the very small number of shinobi who can actually use all 5 changes in chakra nature, part of the reason why it's only, I believe, 10 shinobi who can use all 5 changes in chakra nature out of all the ninja who have ever existed in the Naruto universe, keyword ninja. I'm not counting Hagoromo, I'm not counting Hammer, because neither one of them are ninja. But the reason why that's so important to actually kind of take note of is the fact that your first primary change in chakra nature is always going to be your strongest. Whatever you have the strongest affinity for, that's going to be your go-to. None of your other chakra natures is going to be as powerful. And then every chakra nature that you acquire after the fact is going to be a little bit weaker than the previous ones, but you can train them up. That's the whole purpose of chakra control. That's what's in the actual lore right there. But I say that to say, change in chakra nature, according to the Naruto manga, most jonin by that point have acquired 2 changes in chakra nature. But the fact is that when you look at it, it usually takes years of change in chakra nature training drills to actually acquire a second change in chakra nature. That's why when Asuma saw Naruto trying to learn it, he was like, yo, you sure you can actually learn this? The same thing with Shikamaru. They're both looking at him like, yo, not sure if you can do it. That's why Kakashi told Naruto, like, yo, you can cut down on the amount of training it would take by using multiple shadow clones. That makes what Sasuke did very impressive, given the fact that Sasuke learned that second change in chakra nature, and I believe it was a month's time that took place between the preliminary exams and the actual final exam. Sasuke was able to learn that second change in chakra nature during that time. So it makes what Sasuke did very impressive, but it also shows you the amount of work when you look at how Naruto had to struggle to add his first change in chakra nature, in the sense that Naruto had to use all these different shadow clones and had to retain all that experience. Now, the reason why I say all this is that when you look at the number of ninja who have mastered it, it's a small list because it's one of those things to where it's an extremely difficult thing to do. I think that when people say this new generation has multiple changes in chakra nature, they're absolutely broken, they're all gonna master chakra natures, I tell people pump the brakes because of how hard that is. I think that out of all the people who can probably do it, it's probably gonna be this new generation of Team 7. It's gonna stop right there because they're the ones who have multiple changes in chakra nature in their generation. And so when you look at the list is as follows. You have Hashirama Senju, you have Tobirama Senju, Hiruzen Sarutobi, Orochimaru, Nagato with the rinnegan, Mu, Kakashi Hatake, you have Victor, you have Naruto, Sasuke, Madara, and Obito. Now in the case of Nagato, Madara, Obito, and Sasuke, they're able to use all 5 changes in chakra nature because they have the rinnegan. Having the rinnegan cuts down on that learning process, and having the rinnegan gives you understanding of all those things chakra. Therefore, you can use all 5 changes in chakra nature. And in the case of Sasuke, Sasuke is able to actually break down how Kekkei Genkais work, and he's able to replicate weaker versions of some of the Kekkei Genkais that he sees. And in the character of Naruto's able to use all 5 changes in chakra nature because when he got that 6-pass chakra, Naruto's given a complete understanding of all things chakra related. So Naruto automatically had mastery of 5 changes in chakra nature, as well as mastery of all of the Kekkei Genkais that the different Biju that are inside of him actually have. So when it comes to the ninja that actually learned and acquired that power without any type of power-ups, that puts Sarada in the category of Hashirama, Tobirama, Hiruzen, Orochimaru, Mu, Victor, and Kakashi Hatake. That's not a bad category of people to actually be in right there. And I think that giving Sarada something like this opens up a possibility for her to actually be the embodiment of what we never actually saw Kakashi be, which was a ninja that can use over 1,000 ninjutsu. I think that that's where you can actually start using the character of Sarada in this aspect right here, is you're giving her the opportunity to where she's actually able to start taking that next step forward as an actual shinobi, and in particular that next step forward for her to actually become the Hokage, because she's not going to catch Boruto in terms of power. She's not going to catch Kawaki in terms of power. Kawaki obviously isn't going to be the Hokage. Boruto does not want to be the Hokage. But for Sarada to actually rightfully take that position, the person supporting Konoha from the shadows can't be stronger than the actual Hokage. That can't happen just for the sake of balance. They've got to be somewhat relative to one another. And so because Sarada is being left behind right here, I think this is a really good way to actually close the gap right there. I think that if you have a situation where the reversal of the Naruto and Sasuke relationship, to where the Shadow Hokage ends up being stronger than the actual Hokage, with the Shadow Hokage being Boruto and the Hokage being Sarada Uchiha, and they're just basically mirror opposites of their parents. So with Naruto being leagues physically stronger than Sasuke, but Sasuke being more skilled than Naruto, this is one of those things where you could potentially flip it to where Sarada's the more skilled one and Boruto's the more powerful one, and that's how they become the yin and yang to one another. I think that maybe if you do something like that, that actually works, but I think Sarada adding all 5 changes in chakra nature is probably the best thing for her character. However, I want to know from you guys, how do you guys feel about this possibility? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video, guys. Have an awesome day.